several different people. It's been busy.
Ah.
We've had shows. We've obviously had shows on as well. We've had Emily Jane's show this morning. We've got yours on now. We've got Jackie and Douglas on after you. So it's one of them days.
Yeah, that's nice when everything flows. It's when
Absolutely.
it's when nothing happens that you've got to worry.
Well, I say those days with great.
Yeah, I do.
Sit here and listen to the trees and listen to the birds, listen to the wind.
Yeah, I do a lot of that actually.
That's a great solace in those days. And it's getting darker now, so it's that evening twilight sort of time that I quite like.
Yeah,
now when it's just getting dark and things are winding down, and
sometimes the sunsets are nice, aren't they, at this time of year as well? We've been getting nice sunsets, although not today.
Not today. Well, not here anyway. We've got too much cloud.
Yeah.
What have you been up to since we last talked? What exciting adventures have you been on?
I don't think I have been on any adventures, not in the external world anyway. Yeah, I saw Joyce the other day.
Is she all right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I've been hanging out with Tim a little bit, and my daughter. Yeah.
Did you tell him he was noted for his absence last week?
No, I don't think I did. He might be coming tonight. But it's lovely. I've been getting messages from people who listen on the replay who don't come on the live, which is nice, isn't it, to know that those people are there?
Yeah, well, this is it. This is one of the things. It's nice to have people listening live, but not everybody can listen live at the time. So yeah, to acknowledge that they've listened to the show back on the recording, that's great. Yeah, that's very, very, very encouraging to hear.
Yeah, it is.
So on many levels.
Yeah.
They're taking the time to listen and taking the time to let you know.
Yeah, which is lovely. And I was going to say to you, is there a way of you telling how many people listen to the shows? Like, do you get a count anywhere?
Oh, of all the statistics that Telegram give me, or any group owner, that is the one thing they don't tell you.
I wonder why.
Oh, it's the usual thing, isn't it? It's one of them things that they give you everything that you don't want really to know, and the things that you do really want to know, they don't bother giving you.
Yeah, it's a funny thing.
Isn't it? But yeah, no, it would be great to know how many people listen back on the recordings. Yes, that would be a fantastic statistic.
Yeah, but in some ways, it's kind of nice not knowing. It's weird.
Well, yeah, there's a hint of intrigue as to how many people do listen back, which is one of the reasons why I've been pushing heavily the poll that Everton does for his show on a Sunday, the Truth Prophet. And we do these conundrum polls each week.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's not a precise indicator, but the more people that respond to the poll means that they are aware of the channel, they're aware of the station, they're aware of the poll, they're aware of the show, and it's a good indicator. Now, if we're only getting 1 or 2 people voting, that's poor.
Yeah.
If we're getting 25 to 30 people taking the trouble to poll, then yeah, great. And obviously, if that extends, then obviously the reach is getting further and further. But yeah, no, it's working really well, and it's a great little way of sort of measuring the reach, if you will.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It gives you a bit of a barometer, doesn't it? And then you can keep a record of that, and then look at it over time, and then you'll know, won't you? Like if it's you kind of get the feels of if it's growing or not, don't you? Anyway, just
one of the things that I've been doing and I constantly do. I'll leave it 2 or 3 days, and then I'll have a purge. So get rid of all the fake accounts and all the spammer accounts that's on the station group. At the moment, we're at 818, and we're sort of plateaued out at that. I did a big purge the other day, and I've got rid of a load of deleted accounts and spammer accounts. And I'd rather have 250 people that are regularly on Telegram, not just Holistic Radio, but just on Telegram, rather than 800 people that 600 of them are all fake, or they don't bother coming on last 4 months. They don't even turn Telegram on, let alone come to Holistic Radio. So I'd rather have a genuine number than an inflated fake number. So I've been biding my time, and one of the things I'm going to start doing probably in December is I'm going to start reaching out to some of these larger groups like Herbalism and Remedies, which have sort of like 60,000 members. But they also have a very extensive admin range as well. I think there's about 15 admins. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to message each one of them individually and say, hi, I'm the owner of Holistic Radio, blah, blah, blah. Would you mind if we promoted Holistic Radio on your group or any of your other groups? Can you share information? What can we do to work together to promote each other? Type of thing. That's my plan anyway. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, well, that's perfect. I mean, you know, it's the age of collaboration, isn't it? And why would somebody turn you away as well if you approach them with, you know, how can you help me and I can help you, you know?
Well, this is it. And the thing is that there's a lot of egos still out there, and people don't like other people stepping on their creations, if you will. So, but the fact that there are quite a few channels and groups out there with large numbers of admins, means that I can send a message to each of the admins asking for permission first, and obviously that group of admins is aware of the video.
And like you're putting out the energy of connection, which is always going to be a good thing.
This is what I'm hoping. So I'm hoping that I've left it at several months for things to calm down.
Oh, that's brilliant, Andy. I like that you've got a plan.
It's 3 minutes past 6 already. Right, okay, Jenny. Do you want me to start the recording, or do you want to start the recording?
Well, what makes sense to you? Because I know that Jackie and Douglas are on. Like, what's actually easier for the changeover? Because I know I make it hard every week.
Right. Yes. Well, whether you start the recording or I start it, as long as whoever starts it stops it. Yeah. Okay. When you come to leave, if you're at the end of your show, don't close the show space down, basically, because otherwise we have to reopen it and then everybody has to rejoin. Or you just don't tick that tick box when you leave.
Okay, perfect.
So you can start the recording and stop it. Okay. That's fine. I can do it. That's fine. There's no issues there. It's entirely up to you.
It's all right. I'll do it. Okay. You know when you just have a mental block. Right. I'm going to do it. All right.
Right. I'll mute myself. Okay. And hi to everyone that's joined already. Jade just popped in and popped out. So away we go. Thank you very much, Jenny, and we'll see you on the other side.
Okay, thanks, Andy. No, that was the wrong button. Hello everyone, this is Jenny Luscombe, and you're listening to Feeling is Healing, and we're up to episode 16. So today I thought I'd do something a bit lighter because obviously we're all trying to heal and going dark is a necessity. And I do teach that, you know, we need to go dark because it lets more light in. But we do have to go the other way too. So I'm kind of doing this show today for me. This is what I need to hear because I don't do this enough. And when I did this process that I'm going to do with you this afternoon, it was brilliant and I loved it. And I thought, why don't I do this all the time? So yeah, like they say that you teach what you need to hear, and that's happening. So what happened to us, as well as having suppressed lots of aspects of ourselves that were deemed negative, we also suppressed positive aspects of ourselves that were disapproved of. So ask yourself this question just to start off. What did your parents shut you down for? Or your teachers at school? What did they shut you down for when you were actually feeling good? So this is like when you were on a high, you were excited, you were probably noisy. So just observe those memories that pop up there. What was it that they shut you down for when you were feeling good, when you were on a high vibe, and they weren't on that vibe and they couldn't cope with you being on that vibe for whatever reason? So that should give you some clues about some suppressed aspects of yourself that are positive and possibly the real truth of you. So another brilliant nudge in this direction is this question, and I love this. I love knowing this. Who do you idolize and wish you were more like them? So, you know, we've all got people in our lives that we maybe follow on social media, or people in our life, people that we work with, people in our family, that we kind of just, there's something about who they are or what they do or how they act or what their life's like. There's something that they're doing or being that we just can't get enough of that thing. And it's kind of like, oh my God, I wish I had that quality. I wish I was more like them when they're doing that or when they're being that. So that's actually a trigger. It's a positive trigger. So unfortunately for all of us, like we've had so many negative triggers that we think that a trigger is when we're alerted to something that we had subconsciously trapped, and then we have to figure out, why did I react like that? Now, it's not always the negative stuff. The positive triggers are always happening. And often they're kind of buried amongst emotions kind of like jealousy. So when you are noticing that about yourself, okay, I'm idolizing this person. What is it that is drawing me to this person? So once you figure it out, I want you to then look at yourself, because those things, those aspects that you are idolizing are you. That person is a match to showing you exactly the positive aspects that you have inside of you. Now, this same person might actually have negative aspects that trigger you in the opposite direction. But usually when we idolize someone, it's like, oh my God, everything about this, the way they look, the way they talk, the things they know, like, it's you. It's a positive trigger. So this is the real you that you hid from yourself because mum or dad or maybe a teacher, they couldn't handle it at the time. So you suppressed it because somebody rejected you in that aspect. So this is really interesting. You probably already have oh, self-awareness. A lot of people come to my sessions and they say things like, I can't seem to get into my joy. I just can't get into the vibe that I used to be able to access, my fun. Sort of as we go along the road of life, we sometimes get things in the way. We get things that are in the way of us manifesting those positive feelings. Sometimes it's not that you can't get into the feeling like you used to. Sometimes it's that you can't maintain that, or something always happens to pop the bubble, like something like a disappointment always comes. So that can be a pattern, actually. So I'll talk about that a little bit later, actually. So ask yourself, who was I? Who was I before my family dictated it to me? So you've got this innocence, this inner light that you might have shut down. And if you intentionally sit with that question, what is my inner light like? What did I have shut down? What is my innocence? What is my element, my magic, my unique flavor of the divine? Like, what is that? If you sit with that for long enough, with that healing intention, you will receive information. So ask yourself, what's stopping me from being this joy that I'm looking for, from being this peace or this gratitude or this harmony? Whatever the vibe is that you're kind of on a quest for, what's stopping you from being that in your life? So you can ask yourself these kind of questions, and most people don't, because they kind of think, if I don't know the answer to something, I'm not going to be able to help myself with that. But it's absolutely miraculous when you start to ask yourself things, because the energy of a question, it has to come back to you. That's the nature of a question. You're putting forth energy. It's a request for information. You have to receive the answer. So the answer could come in like any number of ways. It could come as an emotion or a feeling or a thought or a memory. It could come as a sensation in the body, and you might not understand it, but you might notice it. And then you can just kind of play, okay, let's follow the feeling. Let's go into that. So the body's given me something. The body has replied with something. All I have to do is be available and present and listen and learn and be curious, because when you're curious, you're moving towards instead of away from. So it's a skill, and it sort of takes practice noticing the answer, noticing the way that your body particularly communicates with you. And they don't all communicate in the same way, but it's usually through sensation of some kind. Sensation is kind of the key, I think. So whenever you get some kind of answer to a question, sit with it, because that's what was in your way. So if you ask the question, who was I before my family dictated it to me? Who is the real me underneath it all? If you ask that question, it's not going to be a one-word answer. It's going to be lots of information, which is sort of multidimensional in nature. So you might receive one thing one day, and then the next day you'll just be looking through your social media feed, and then a video will really inspire you, and it will make you go, oh, I'm really like that, and I haven't thought about it. And then as soon as you start to notice, I'm getting an answer to my question that I asked the other day. As soon as you start to notice the replies coming at you through time and space, through social media, through your body, like whatever means it is, it might be something you hear somebody say as they're kind of walking past you, you start to get more answers. So the more you kind of notice and feel gratitude for the responses, the more of them you'll get, because the more you're in the conversation, and I call this cosmic ping pong, because the energy has to go, as soon as you know that the energy has to come back to you, and you let go of it needing to be a certain way, like let go of needing there to be an angel that comes and whispers in your ear, like in a really obvious, clear way, like just be open to it coming from anywhere and everywhere. It is so magical. So, where was I up to? Yeah, so if you feel like, okay, I have got a bit of a positive emotion blocker, kind of make a mental note of it and then go deeply into that feeling. And then ask yourself, this positive emotion, what's in the way of this? If this is the one that I just can't see it through, or I can't maintain it, or something always comes to kind of wreck my vibe, ask yourself, what's in the way? And literally, the moment that you ask that question, what's in the way, you'll get a sensation in the body. So go straight to the sensation, because there might not be any words for it yet. Your body's quicker than, you're able to make sense of it. So go to the sensation. It might be sort of in your solar plexus. It might feel like a disempowerment. It might feel like, oh, I'm not that great. And, people say that I've got nothing interesting to say and make their minds or whatever. So it will take you into a story, which isn't true, by the way. But it's a story that your body thinks is true. Otherwise, it wouldn't be happening. So your body is trying to get your attention to resolve and lies and negative energies that are holding back. Your body wants you to see them, to hear them, to resolve them, to just let them lay to rest. So when you get this negative jolt, oh, this thing's in the way, this guilt or this shame, I can't feel successful, I can't feel grateful about this, then that's the obstacle in your path. Nothing bad has happened, nothing's gone wrong. Lots of things have gone right because you're listening, you're getting messages. So when you see, okay, this thing's in my way, and then you sit with that, and then you look more closely at that, and then just merge with that feeling and allow it to be a full body kind of multi-sensory experience. Just experience the memory of that thing. And then the more that you can be in that emotion, the more you'll come to understand that, the more information you'll receive about that, the more it will make sense that that emotion is there. Now, that's not accepting that you should feel shame or that you should feel guilt. That's just accepting that it's there and it's a block. And you're just going to be present with it. You're not going to try and change it. After everything that you've been through, it makes sense that you would have that block. So let that be there. And then follow that emotion, follow those thoughts, sit with that for as long as you can until it literally changes in front of your eyes. It might change into another thought or another emotion. And then just keep going back to that until you're able to access the positive feeling that was what you wanted in the first place. So keep going back to the joy. Because if you can't quite get into the joy, the thing that is blocking you from the joy will present itself, because that's how energy works. So we're talking today about amplifying positive memory, not trying to reduce negative ones, which is what we're normally talking about. So we're going to focus on the positive aspects today. Now, we can actually increase our capacity for experiencing certain emotions that we find hard to access by practicing being in them. So the more that you practice being in a positive emotion, you just sit in that vibe, like Esther Hicks would call it like a rampage of appreciation, which I love. I don't know if you've ever listened to videos where they rampage appreciation. It goes on for like 20 minutes. Like by the end of it, you're off like flying. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. So when you work towards amplifying your positive emotion or increasing your capacity for holding that emotion and attracting that emotion and experiencing that emotion, it can have an absolutely profound effect on your life. You'd be like, why have I not been doing this every day? It's amazing. It's amazing. So what I'm going to do is, if you've got your pen and pad, paper, I think it's always like a really good idea to have your notebook handy whenever you do this kind of thing, because intuition and the subconscious, it can be very, very dreamlike and kind of a bit spacey, and like you can have like an amazing, miraculous insight, and then if you don't jot it down, it sometimes disappears in a puff of smoke. You know, like when you're in an amazing dream and then you wake up and it's the morning and you're like, oh God, it's the morning. And then that amazing dream that you're just having, it's like, oh, what was that? I can't quite get back into that now. And it's gone. And it's gone because it was subconscious information. So the whole time you're doing this kind of inner work, you're surfacing subconscious information. And this is like why people say, like, as soon as you have an intuition, act on it, like act on it immediately if you can. Because that intuition is only relevant really at that fragment of time, that time and space that you thought it. So when you receive that information, boom, it's like a truth bomb. Do it right there and then, because the universe can see it all. So then you might need to act on that in that moment. You might need to message someone. You might need to post something. Like you might need to do something, like, or be something, but at that precise moment, because that's when you've received it. That's when it's relevant. So anyway, that was a bit of a tangent, but yeah, get your notebook and pen. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do a sort of step-by-step thing, and there are steps 1 to 8. So this is actually how to amplify your positive emotion. So this sort of like helps you put down new neural pathways in your body that weren't there before, or that maybe you did have blockers on. I did this process earlier and it was miraculous. I might tell you about that at the end if I've got time. But anyway, like if you feel called, then I would recommend tapping at the same time. So tap on either the side of your hand underneath your little finger on the squidgy part of your hand there. That's called the karate chop point. And a lot of people refer to that as the reset button. And any tapping on any meridian point is going to bring your cortisol level down a lot. And it's going to help you connect your left brain and your right brain. It does a lot of things, loads. So step 1. So I'd recommend closing your eyes. And I want you to choose the feeling that you want to amplify. So it might be love, it might be success, it might be peace, it might be harmony. It might just be the feeling of relief is a really good one, because if you amplify the feeling of relief in your life, you have to attract situations that cause you to experience relief. Now that's a way of getting solutions to your problems, like through the back door. Like, see if you can do that. Anyway, tangent again. So close your eyes, pick your high vibe that you want more of. So what I want you to do is, while you're tapping, you've got your eyes closed, sink deeply into the feeling flavor of that thing, that emotion, that thought. And pay particular attention to the sensation of that in your body, the emotional sensation of that in your body. And all you have to do is observe it and be present with it and to enjoy it. And there's nothing to do, there's nothing to change, there's nothing to fix. Just milk it, like just let yourself feel that feeling. So this is a good time to notice, have I actually got some resistance to feeling this thing? So you might already have a story, oh my God, I don't deserve to feel like that. Or who's going to want me to do this thing? And I'm never going to get there. And notice if like negative limiting beliefs pop up. That's okay, nothing's going wrong. This is brilliant to like figure out what your blocks are. So just jot them down on a piece of paper. You don't have to do anything with them right now. If you're having resistance to getting into that high vibe, you just are. And there'll be reasons, but it's temporary. So don't panic. So just do the best you can. And if it helps you, use the memories of when you felt this emotion that you felt. It's feeling your body then. How did you know that you were excited? How did you know that you felt like a higher self? You know, how did you know that you felt successful? Just ask yourself what's the sensation of that. So just be with it for as long as you can. And then step 2, it might sound a bit weird, but I want you to send that feeling, that vibe in your body as if it was a conscious being kind of thing. Give it the message that you're completely with it. I'm completely with you while you're feeling that joy, while you're feeling that success, while you're feeling that love. I'm completely with you. Thank you for showing me. I'm witnessing this emotion, and maybe I've never done this before, and it feels so good. So you've generated the vibe, and then you've sent the vibe, the message, I'm with you. I've got you. I'm enjoying this. I'm noticing what this is in my body. I'm noticing what this does to me. I'm noticing what it makes me think. I'm noticing the expression on my face. So step 3 is a question. So that feeling flavor that you've got going on, that sensation in your body, ask yourself, when was the first time I felt this exact same feeling? When was the first time I felt this exact same feeling? And don't chase the answer, and don't reprimand yourself if no answer comes. What you want to do here is just receive it. So this is like you're learning to have a conversation with your body. Your body can hear you, and your body is talking to you. You just have to learn its language. So ask the question, when was the first time I felt this exact same excitement or joy or success or whatever it is? Don't chase the answer. Just let it rise like a bubble and receive it. It's not for you to control. It's not for you to go, oh, I think it might be this. Just wait and let your body reply. And if it doesn't reply straight away, that's okay. Just keep coming back to it. So step 4, if a memory does come of when you first felt that exact same feeling, or you might have a really, really strong memory of being in that vibe, but you probably know it might not be the first time you ever felt it, but it might be a significant time that you remember that you felt that success or you felt that love or whatever. Just let yourself just take the memory that the universe throws at you. So if a memory comes, go completely into that memory and let yourself re-experience that positive thing. Just relive it. But remember every single thing that happened. What were you thinking? What was the story? Like, what did you feel in your body? So obviously you can make this as long or as short as you like. It makes you feel so amazing, this does. Step 5, there's another question here, and this is, I'm going to tell you in a minute what I did earlier, and it was miraculous. So when you feel like you fully re-experience that memory and that sensation, that emotion or that story, when you fully re-experience that, ask yourself, okay, what could make this even better? So what could make this the most happiness or the most joyous joy or the most loving love or the most peaceful peace? Like what would crank it up a notch? What would make it unbelievable? Like, so ask yourself, how could I alter this memory to make it even better? So this is about using your imagination, and anything goes, anything goes. So an example here, like for example, you might be reminiscing about when you won a race at sports day when you were a kid. And in the original memory, Mum was there and she was like, yay! And it was brilliant that Mum saw you win the race. How about, like, in your reimagining of this, how about you rerun the race and then Dad's there as well? And everyone that you love and care about, every single person, like your extended family, like all your favorite aunties and uncles, like your cousins, like everybody saw you like win the race and you were so fucking happy. It was just like, oh my God, like all my birthdays and Christmases have come at once. So have a go at that, like reimagine the memory. How can I make this high vibe even better? So this is about visualizing it as if that improvement actually occurred. So tell your body, this is real, like this emotion is real, this feeling is real. So what you can do next, step 6, and obviously like spend more time on it than I'm giving you as well. Like you could literally sit and do this for hours. So step 6 is imagine that this younger version of you, so it might be in a child version, it might be in an adult. Imagine that they're standing opposite you. And then imagine them giving this reimagined experience to you in some way. So they're handing it to you kind of like as a gift, or they're putting it into your body, or maybe they infuse the frequency of it into a crystal and then they give you the crystal. Or maybe they give you a flower or something which is symbolic of the energy of this. It doesn't really matter. It's kind of about the intention of giving and receiving the energy, like passing it through time and space. And please don't underestimate how powerful it is when you pass things from your inner child to your current. It's actual magic. So basically what you're going for here is to receive the essence of that experience reimagined as if it was real. So imagine it merging with you as if its experience is now your experience, as if there's no kind of distinction between the reimagined event and what actually did really happen. And then the best way to sort of finish the exercise is to just spend loads of time, like loads, like as much time as you've got, soaking up that new vibrational state and taking it into the cells of your body. And you can just imagine, like, there's loads of different ways that you can do this. You can literally, I mean, you've got something like 75 trillion cells in your body. And a lot of people think that there's like actually, they've all got an individual consciousness. It's crazy. So imagine that you're the commander of the ship and they're all the shipmates, and you're in charge and they're listening to you. You've got the wheel, and then you get to program them. So imagine giving to them like your inner child gave to you. Imagine giving to them in some way this reimagined, intensively amazingly positive experience. And then observe it just soak into the cells of your body. Imagine it soaking into the fibers and the bones and the skin and all the organs of your body, like a sponge. Imagine you're like a sponge, and actually spend time observing it kind of landing and becoming you. So observe it in as many different multidimensional ways as you can. So when you choose to receive a new energy into your body, you can just ask yourself loads of questions like, okay, so if this new vibe, if this was a color, what color would it be? If it was a texture, if I touched it, what would that feel like under my fingers? Just receive that color, receive that texture, receive that temperature or that shape or that image or that facial expression, or like it feels like my whole body is smiling, whatever that is like for you. Or it might just be a thought or a belief. It might be, oh my God, I am good enough. Maybe I am who I thought I was. Whatever that looks like for you. And then quite literally, when you finished, just have a deep breath. I'd recommend staying in that for as long as you can. And then you're literally back in the room. So just return to the room that you're in, into the present moment, into the now. I'm just going to briefly tell you what I did earlier. So I was thinking, like, what should I focus on for this? Like, what emotion do I want to, kind of crank up a bit? And I was thinking about the energy of, you can call it lots of things, like the energy of miracles or the energy of breakthrough or the energy of sort of receiving something that you've been trying a long time to receive, or something that it felt like was impossible. And then when you receive that thing. So I thought about that. Yeah, I thought about that. I was like, yeah, I want more of that. So I spent some time like thinking about times in my life where I felt that, where I suddenly had like a breakthrough or something amazing's happened and everything's okay and everything's perfect. And there was a few things came up, and like one of the earliest times I remember feeling that was when I was 17, and I kind of say to myself, I accidentally got into university because I completely fucked my A levels, because at the time I was like spending more time going to the pub than doing any study. That's another story. So yeah, I remember I'd applied for university. I didn't really want to get a degree or to go to university as such. I just wanted to be free, and I needed to escape from my family because they were very abusive. So I wanted to go to university as an escape. So it was like my way out. So I was already kind of like in this memory. At the beginning of the memory, I was kind of stuck in this resignation, like I failed. I'm not going to get in. I'm stuck with my mum. I'm never going to get freedom, all of this. And my mind took me to the memory of opening the letter from Liverpool Poly to say, you're in. Because I got in through caring, and it was like a miracle because I didn't get anywhere near the right grades. And when I was opening the letter, I just thought it was going to say, yeah, thanks, but no thanks, And so I received this absolutely miraculous thing that changed the course of my entire life, like getting away from my family. Because I don't know how else I would have got away, quite honestly. I received that letter, I opened it, and I read the letter, congratulations, you are going to be starting university, blah, blah, blah. And I couldn't take it in because my head had already gone west. Do you know what I mean? With the doom and the gloom of, oh, I'm going to have to do retakes, everything's shit. I'm never going to have freedom ever again. My head went from that place to, oh my fucking God, like this is the most miraculous miracle ever. So I kind of like, when I was doing this process, I sat in that for as long as I could, and it was so amazing. And it felt like, and I remember at the time like sobbing with joy, just like sobbing. I just remember the relief, and like loads of things flashing before my eyes, like all the times that I thought there's no way out, there's no way out. And it was suddenly my way out. So it was really, really intense joy, like super intense joy. And so I was sitting with this when I was doing the exercise. And then I got to the bit, step 4, yeah, what could make this feeling even better? And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. This was one of the best things that's ever happened to me. Like, I don't know where my life would have gone if this hadn't have happened. And I thought, right, I'm gonna like, what would I do to like make that even better? And I just thought, well, I'd want someone to be with me, to witness me, because I was on my own in my room. And I thought, who would I have wanted at the time to witness me? And I just thought I wouldn't have wanted anyone then that I knew then to witness me and be with me then, because I've fallen out with all of those people now. So I couldn't kind of do the visualization. So I thought, oh, well, I could just invite my inner children to be with me. And I thought at first, well, that seems a silly thing to do. I don't know why. Like, what's that going to do? I thought to myself. And then I basically invited in age 0, age 1, age 2, all the way to age 7, like all of my inner children. And I looked at their life, and I looked at their sort of hopelessness and their sense of every day is awful, every day is like sadness and pain and all of this. And I got them to sit and watch a video on repeat of me receiving that information. And then we literally all jumped about and had a party, and they were all these little children, little versions of me going, oh, we're getting out of here, we're escaping. And it was all like, yay. And it was so powerful. It was so powerful. It really was. And I'm still sort of coming down from it now. And I did receive information that I hadn't previously received. You know, there was quite a lot of truth bombs about access to freedom, and like it was just loads of things. So don't underestimate this. And any amount of time that you're sitting in positive emotion, you're going to bring change into your life in a positive direction. It's the law. And I'd like you to let me know what happens, and occasionally, some of you guys do get in touch with me and let me know things that happen. And it is literally my most favorite thing. Like when I hear that someone's tried something out that works for them. I suggested, I love it. I love it. I find it incredibly healing as well. But yeah, there's a few parts to this exercise. So definitely go dark as well as going light, because sometimes you'll naturally just be shown you can't have this, you can't have this emotion, you can't have this love, or you can't have this success, because there's this memory that you need to go to allow that to kind of play out. You need to sit with those feelings for longer. You need to accept that that happened and accept that you had a reaction to that. So you might get negative things come up and sort of hit you in the face. But that's only because the universe loves you and it wants you to get to the joy. It's just going to show you the obstacles that are the things in the way of you getting there. The universe is always going to bring you the path of least resistance. So sometimes the positive emotions that we sometimes feel, they do feel unsafe to feel. So maybe they were a threat to our parents in some way. So maybe they couldn't tolerate our excitement, or maybe they didn't have the energy that day. They were going through something, or maybe they felt guilty because they couldn't connect with you in that emotion for some reason to do with their trauma. So we have actually associated like being pushed away or rejected by our parents or by our teachers or whoever. We've made an association with that feeling of rejection with that joy or that circumstance that was happening at the time. So often we can sort of associate the positive emotion of success or joy with chronic disappointment. So if we're in a pattern of, oh, you know, I never get the thing, like I always think I've got the thing and then I never get the thing. It's just an association, and you can break associations like that really easily. Like we can be stuck in loops for like years, like all our lives, and we didn't realize we could just step out of it by just being with the chronic disappointment. You don't need to fix it or change it, just be with it, because the chances are you push that away your entire life and you never properly looked at it. You never felt the sensation in your body. You never gave yourself a chance to respond and react to that horrible thing that keeps happening. So all you have to do is be the witness. Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to read notes and speak at the same time, which doesn't always work. Yeah, so unfortunately sometimes like positive emotions, they do feel dangerous. So if we have a mixed feeling like that, notice the mixed vibration and ask yourself, why have I got this joy and this disappointment at the same time? And then ask to be shown where that comes from. And you can ask the question, what is keeping me from the highest excitement ever, or the happiest happiness ever, or the most successful success ever, or you know, whatever it is, what is keeping me from that? And then sit with what answer you get in your body. So it might come as a memory or a feeling, and then sink into that. So allow a full body experience of that obstacle, and then stay with that for as long as you can, and then that will transmute and change into probably a million different things until you can get back to that positive emotion again. So I would recommend sort of doing a pendulum, kind of going into the negative, the block, to the joyful thing, and then go back into the joy, and then go back to the block, and then go back into the joy. Because you're validating both sides of the coin there. You're validating parts of your consciousness that kind of oppose each other, which is one of the best things to do on the planet right now, I think. So obviously the more we sit with the dark, the more the light can come in. And the more we sit with the positive, the more we become a match to that positive, that specific positive thing that we're looking for. And the more things that you will manifest into being that match that feeling. And the more you feel that in your body, you're increasing your physiological capacity to hold that, because you're laying down new neuro pathways. And as the universe is actually expanding, then we can expand anything, including positive emotion, if we focus on it. So the better it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets. And just remember that that doesn't apply to negative emotion. You don't get more negative emotion when you focus on negative emotion, because you're caretaking the negative emotion. Your intention is to witness it, so it doesn't need to exist anymore. So when you have the intention to caretake it and process it as a negative emotion, you're transmuting it into a positive one. So any kind of inner work always brings you closer to the truth of who you are. So positive emotions are very close to the frequency of truth. Negative emotions are closer to the frequency of illusion. And whenever you're tapping, you naturally will land in the truth. It's just where you get taken. And if it feels like things that are not true are coming to you when you're tapping, it's because they're the subconscious kind of lies that were trapped in your body, or the subconscious trapped negative emotions that were there, or limiting beliefs. They're coming up to be seen. But you will always, if you stay in the feeling, you will always get back to the truth. Always. Okay, so I'm just looking at the time now. About 10 minutes left. Yeah, thanks everyone for coming. Wow, there's quite a few of you here today. So if any of you would like to chip in or have a word or share anything. Feel free. Everyone's quiet today.
And just say thank you very much for this support. There is quite a few people listening, so I'm not going to say anything in case anybody does want to help me. I've just taken off all the automatic music, so that if anyone does want to have a quick say hello or whatever it might be, then you can unmute yourself now and Jenny can hear you.
I think it's so interesting, this because like when you're on the healing path, like we all do get very deep into feeling the negative stuff and knowing that we have to do that. We forget about the positive side of things. And also when we get triggered by people on the spiritual path that are bypassing a bit, you know, they are a bit too love and light and not going dark. Like sometimes we can forget and go, oh no, I can't look at the positive stuff, you know. But it's so important because we've suppressed ourselves, like we've suppressed all the parts of us, the positive, the negative. And we did it, you know. We might like to blame our parents, or you know, but ultimately we did it because we received information from our environment and then we made decisions based on what we were perceiving, and you know, it was about how we were being received in certain ways. We decided to shut ourselves down, which is why we can reverse this. If it was us that did that, we can then open ourselves up again. And it takes a bit of practice, but I still can't believe that this is real in some ways. Like when I look around, I still can't believe that people don't know that this works and that everybody isn't doing this. Like it really, I find it really weird. I've been doing it for such a long time and it works miraculously. But it's also weird that I forget to do it as well, that I forget to do this. But yeah, we all get sidetracked, don't we, by like whatever it is. But you know,
yeah, just Jenny, just agreeing with you there. That will years for me. Yeah, you do forget that the things that you used to do, that used to work, you forget about them, and you get a little reminder, whatever it might be. But yeah, you get a little reminders along the way, and oh yeah, I used to do that, but I don't do that anymore. When I did that, it was great. Why have I stopped doing that?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like I think we're a bit like squirrels on the spiritual path. We just end up chasing here and chasing there, and it's probably because you know we might have like a limiting belief about commitment, or I don't know. Like there's loads of like we might have like okay, I can't keep doing that thing because I don't know. Like, why would we? It probably is because a part of you
get attracted to change. An old saying is change is as good as a rest.
Yeah.
If we get distracted by something that changes in our life, it might be through our own design, or it might be because of something else. But then we sort of focus our attention on that, forgetting about that, and then we then follow that path for a while, and then we realise we've been following this path for a while, but oh yeah, we used to do that. I mean, one of the things I used to do, and you've touched on it tonight, is I would always concentrate my efforts on the bad parts of my personality or the negative parts of my personality or abilities, and focus my attention on those from a young age, because I realised that the good bits of me are always going to be the good bits of me, and well, the bad bits will fester if I don't deal with them.
Yeah.
And I used to do that with emotional, spiritual, mental, well, whatever it was. Concentrate on that, alleviate the negative aspects. You might never ever solve them 100%, or you might never alleviate them 100%. However, if there is a harmonious balance where you've brought the negative up a bit to being a bit more positive, and you've neglected your positive, so it's dropped a little bit, then there is that harmonious balance, and it's like a glider.
Yeah.
Going one way, going the other way, and keeping a straight line.
Yeah. In a very basic way. I mean, we're just bringing all the parts of ourselves together, aren't we? I mean, we might kind of like neglect doing things that we know work because we've got like an issue with indecisiveness, or like we because we didn't know ourselves, because we were so fragmented. It's hard for us to choose, or so we might go, okay, maybe I need to be doing something else. Like we don't trust ourselves. So okay, I trusted myself for a bit, but now I don't know if I can trust myself, so I'm going to go in the opposite direction. Or we might feel, actually, on a subconscious level, we might feel that thing is going to work, and then a part comes in to hijack that because it can feel that it's going to work, and that we might have some sort of success blockers in the way. Could be why we stop doing things like that. I think there's always parts. Parts that, yeah, if we don't know why we're doing something, it's always because there's a part of us doing it because it thinks it's helping. Okay, well,
I would like to say thank you, Jenny. That was wonderful.
Oh, hi, Carly. Oh, thank you.
It done a spiraling thing inside, and I took some notes. I'm like looking back and excited to go back again. So
yay! That's brilliant. Well done, Carly. And it's just so lovely. Like, some of us have been stuck in a kind of low vibe for a long time because of everything that's happening, and it's hard to keep going. And it's, we're so sick of the uncertainty and the negative vibe and what we're facing. And like, if we can intentionally go into something joyous and positive every day, it would probably change our lives. But it's hard to do that, isn't it, when we're feeling like really low vibe?
It's kind of nice to go into it
Yeah.
and accept that there was the low part,
Yeah.
and the other part that was higher. There was light and dark going on, but it intermingled in a vibrational space that had harmony and acceptance. It which felt nice, which felt nicer than the real niceness.
Yeah.
So thank you.
I like the way that you put that. I love the language that this kind of inner work generates as well. Like, people say the craziest things to me in sessions. I love it. And everybody thinks they're weird. It's everyone thinks that what they're experiencing is not normal, or different or whatever. But yeah, thank you, everybody. Does anyone else want to have a quick word? Otherwise, I'll finish and let Jackie and Doug take over. Okay, everyone, thanks so much. It was lovely to see so many people here. So thank you for listening, and I'm going to close the show now. So have a lovely evening, everybody. I did it. I stopped it. And again, I've not got the...
either send me the audio file from your saved messages, or just post it straight onto the group.
Yeah.
And then I'll attach it like I normally do. Sort it out.
Okay, Andy. Yeah. Brilliant.
Thank you very much, Jenny.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice show, Jenny. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Take care, everybody.
Much love.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.